Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 2021 driver career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we head to the Mexico GP and it's the 1 season anniversary of my first ever win in Formula 1, a part of this career mode with this Aston Martin team, where we picked up the victory here in a chaos filled GP last season here in Mexico, where I think like nearly half of the grid retired out of the race due to accidents, mechanical failures, etc. Of course, we picked up one win since then, and that was at France earlier in the season, where we had a lot of luck go our way too. So 2 wins coming into this 1 season anniversary of that first win, and they've both really been because of luck. So we haven't won a race in straight up pace, but that's just the way the Aston Martin is. We don't have the straight up pace to necessarily win, other than when we were at Azerbaijan. So nonetheless, I was excited to come into this GP here. Now this is a big GP. Every GP from here on out is so important, not necessarily for us, as we already know where our future is. We're going to McLaren and stuff, but the what's important is, of course, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, as well as Valtteri Bottas's championship battle, and potentially Perez as well, but he's going to need a really good final home GP here in Mexico to keep himself in this championship battle. Now, as you guys know, Perez is retiring at the conclusion of this 3rd season in the career mode, so he will not be back with a Red Bull BMW next season alongside Max Verstappen. And I think there's going to be a lot of driver changes next season. Since Perez is leaving, I'm leaving Aston Martin to go to McLaren. I feel like the doors are going to just get blown wide open for a whole bunch of roster changes, but I could be wrong. Maybe we only end up with like a couple, but we'll have to wait and see here, of course, now as we close in on these final GPs. We still have that curveball of Saudi Arabia coming up here, and that's one of the GPs I'm really looking forward to driving. Personally, I'm not sure how the races are going to be, but practice went pretty well here in free practice 1, and I was pretty confident going into qualifying, but there was one problem. I actually took a 50 place grid penalty. Yes, a 50 place grid penalty, because I basically swapped out every single part. So I noticed that a couple of parts I needed to change, and that was going to give me about a 10 place grid penalty, but then I looked at the other parts and they were all in the mid 20s, low 30s, and I said, you know what, screw it, let's just replace every part in the car for this GP here. Now, it's a very high speed racetrack here in Mexico, so I was hoping we could actually be able to pass pretty easily with this Aston Martin power that we have, so I decided to just literally change everything, and unfortunately that meant a 50 place grid penalty for us here in the Mexico GP. I was not very happy about that part, of course, because that means we'll guarantee be starting at the back actually here in P20, but we did make it into Q2. There wasn't really any point to qualify, but more of a trying to knock out other people to make sure Vettel gets through or something was kind of what the idea was at this point. Now, as I only made 1 lap here in Q2, whatever happens at this point now, as we would come through the S's section and got through there pretty well. This is one of my favorite parts of the track, if you get it right anyways. But we come through to cross the line and actually set a really good lap compared to Q1. We went P2 for the time being, would drop down to P6, but then would eventually drop out of Q2. But like I said, it didn't matter. I didn't really try. And unfortunately, though, Vettel is P12 as we will be P11. But like I said, 50 place grid penalty will be starting at the very back of the grid here in Mexico. Unfortunate, but let's head to the grid, see what we get, and hopefully we can have a nice charge through the field here on our 1 season anniversary of our first GP win in Formula 1.
Here we go then. It's time to race in Mexico City, a place which gave Honda their first ever victory back in 1965. American Richie Ginther won from 3rd on the grid. And what are the Honda-powered cars this year? Well, Red Bull have been going strong here in recent seasons, so can they keep that record going today? The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 2.6 miles of track that allows drivers to take full advantage of their cars, reaching speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and providing lots of opportunities for overtaking. The circuit features 17 corners, 10 to the right, and the remaining 7 going to the left. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ricardo, Bottas, Sergio Perez, and Tsunoda. Leclerc, Vettel, Norris and George Russell, Gasly, Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Joe, Ireland, Stroll, Mick Schumacher and Carlos Sainz. Latifi, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and the rookie. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Ready to go, lights out here in the Mexico GP. Lando Norris, a championship leader, actually took a grid place penalty, so we'll see how he fares on this start. And this is going to be a hectic start. It's a long run down towards a very sharp turn one, a very heavy braking zone, of course, and then you head into that first chicane. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody runs into any issues there, making contact and getting some wing damage and whatnot here as you would get to the back of the grid. Carlos Sainz joining us back here at the back of the grid with a grid penalty, as well as it's going to be 5 red lights. Verstappen leads away with Lewis Hamilton there alongside as it's lights out, and we are underway. Verstappen got his first win of the season in the last episode of Circuit of the Americas, and here he is backing it up with a pole position here in Mexico as we make this long journey down towards turn 1. The defending champion leads away. Ricciardo around the outside of Hamilton. They're side by side. Everybody here very close quarters, wheel to wheel, but looking like they're going to keep it clean here now. Hamilton stays second, Ricciardo third, Bottas fourth, and Norris, he did, I think, gain 1 position, but he kept the car clean. That's the main thing for Lando Norris on the start. The British driver looks to continue to maintain his championship lead, but right now the 3 drivers still within reach of him are all beating him, but we still, of course, have 36 laps remaining, so plenty of time for Norris to be able to settle in, just keep a cool head, and work his way forward now. As Lewis Hamilton, though, in P2, of course, would love to try and pass Max Verstappen, get those extra points there, and go and command this GP throughout the whole length of this GP, but we'll see what he is able to do now, as Max Verstappen has been very strong recently here now. I mean, he's been robbed of a few victories this season due to mechanical failures and whatnot, and pit strategy failures, but here he is finally getting his first win of the season in the last episode now. As you see me here, I was actually struggling to get through the pack on this first and opening lap. I had just now finally made a pass on Guan Yu Zhou here at the end of this first lap, and now I was up into P19. So not the first lap I was hoping for, that's for sure here, but we at least got through this first lap nice and clean. Guan Yu Zhou actually pitted, he had some wing damage, but then now it was more of like Operation Follow Carlos Sainz through the grid. So we go to the right hand side here, fellow Canadian of Nicholas Latifi now, we're going to get close right there, but we are able to get in front of him, take that 18th position away, and just continue to follow Carlos here. But now in lap 4, Lando Norris actually trying to move his way back throughout the field now, making a lunge around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda, a little bit of contact right there between him and Tsunoda now as they continue side by side. More contact, that's going to give Lando Norris wing damage there in the McLaren. The championship leader, who just needs to keep his nose clean, does the exact opposite, picks up wing damage. Here comes Sebastian Vettel, I finally get to say that now, as he lunges deep into the left-hander and takes the position from Tsunoda, moves up into now the 8th position, but Norris would have to pit at the end of the lap to replace his wing. But as this was happening, Carlos Sainz makes some moves around the outside of Schumacher. They make a little bit of contact right there, wheel to wheel, and then right here they're going to come together again big time, and I'm going to make a move to the right hand side, and here I come through making the pass on both of them. Carlos picks up wing damage, he's going to have to pit, and all of a sudden Chaos has picked up here, and at the conclusion of this 4th lap, a whole bunch of drivers were finding themselves in the pit lane. Lando Norris is in for a brand new front wing. Tsunoda was in for the front wing as well after the contact with Lando Norris, as well as Carlos Sainz. So 3 drivers on 1 lap all pick up some significant front wing damage that would need to be fixed here now. So, I mean, great for us because we just gained 2 positions out of that, and then we would continue moving past another fellow Canadian there, Callum Ilott, side by side with Giovinazzi, who lunges down into turn 1. He actually overshoots the corner. They're side by side right here. They don't make contact, so they know how to keep it clean at least, but I take advantage of both of them scrapping it out, and next thing you know, I'm finding myself in the 11th position. I didn't think we would be able to work our way through the field like this. Obviously, there's been a lot of luck involved so far here with everybody running into some trouble, and then we run down George Russell on lap 5, who has wing damage as well after contact with his teammate Esteban Ocon, and now we pass him through the S's there, and we move into the top 10, and then Carlos Sainz had a bit of a moment here. Now he would actually go for a spin out of turn 1, so his race has gone from bad to worse there for the Spaniard. Not what he is looking for, but we would just continue maneuvering our way through the grid. We now make a pass easily on Esteban Ocon right there and move up into now 9th place here as we were closing in on some pit stops for the front of the grid that were all on the soft compound tires. Then on lap 11, here comes Verstappen, Hamilton, Ricciardo as well here. Now we're on the medium compound along with our teammate of Vettel, so we can go a little bit longer, and that's exactly what we would do. Bottas, Perez, they would come in a lap later. Verstappen, he was of course going to be the first in line to retake the lead once myself and Sebastian pit here. So we're running P1, P2, but as I say that, coming to the conclusion of lap 12, Sebastian Vettel is going to be retiring from the Mexican GP there. A mechanical failure, and well, name a more iconic duo than an Aston Martin car and a mechanical failure this season. So very unfortunate there, as the 4-time world champion is out of the Mexican GP. So we would take over the lead, no safety car necessary, and then it was just a matter of time until I come into the pit lane, of course. But then moments later, Esteban Ocon, he's retired in the exact same spot as Sebastian Vettel there due to a mechanical failure as well. You saw the smoke coming to the back of that car right there. And then to lap 14, Verstappen had run me down. I would not put up a fight, of course, with him. I would just let him go by. He's got his own race, I got my own race. What a bunch of chaos though, as we would come into the pit lane for our first of 2 pit stops here at the conclusion of lap 14. But it's been a wild one, and somehow there's been no virtual safety car, there's been no actual safety car, and it just feels like it's been chaos from probably what, lap 4 to now. And now we do our first stop, we go onto the soft compound tire, then we're going to pit again, and we actually, from the looks of it, could potentially put on another set of soft compound tires and be really fast at the end of this GP here now, as we would try to work our way back forwards, now going around the outside, the long way around of Calamai lot there, and move up into the 9th position. Then we run down Lando Norris, who of course is well off of where he needs to be because of the wing damage he picked up. I lunged down the inside of him, I passed him, so we move up into P7. Valtteri Bottas now on lap 17, having a little bit of a scrap with Charles Leclerc. They make a little bit of contact. I don't think he picked up any wing damage, but we've seen it before, and there it is again. Big contact that time between Bottas and Leclerc, and now that is going to be some wing damage to Valtteri Bottas now, as he had a huge opportunity to gain some significant points on Norris, who is well behind, but now he would have to come in, replace his wing as well, and another free position for me, and there's another one as well, as we easily just cruise by Pierre Gasly there in the AlphaTauri BMW, as we continue to see that AlphaTauri team get higher and higher up on that R&D chart. It'll be interesting to see where they're at in these coming episodes. Once again, the pit stop cycle was underway for the leaders with Verstappen and Hamilton, so I was now up into 2nd place, and I was just waiting for Perez to pit, and then we would be able to take the lead once again, as Bottas, though, on lap 22 has spun out. Oh my goodness, it's gone from bad to worse for him, just like it did for Carlos Sainz earlier in this GP. He had gone around, and now he was still ahead of Lando Norris at that time, I believe, but now he is absolutely not, and it is just gone from bad to worse for Valtteri, and unbelievable. We were now leading this race after Perez had pitted, but of course I had to come into the pit lane here at the conclusion of lap 25. But with all these drivers that have better cars than us and better pace than us having issues with Bottas, Norris, Ricciardo actually had some wing damage, by the way, that kind of got unnoticed there, but as well as Vettel. I mean, so many drivers have had issues. That puts us in a position to fight now for a podium finish. We're going to come out of the pit lane in 4th place. Perez on the medium compound, I'm on the soft compound, so I already know I'm going to be able to easily stay ahead of him. Lando now up into 6th place, still no safety car surprisingly, and I did actually bank in the fastest lap of the GP as well after all that happened. Gasly had come into the pit lane and now was now up into 3rd place, just cruising to a nice podium finish, even trying to run down Lewis Hamilton, who's 6.5 seconds ahead though, as we lose it out of the S's. We add to the chaos ourselves there, as we've had our own spin here now in the same spot that Valtteri Bottas lost his car moments earlier, and we lose the podium position to Sergio Perez. Here comes Pierre Gasly as well. He's going to go around my outside. I didn't fight into the corner because I knew my rear tires were going to be lit up, so I decided to back it down, play it safe. A lap later, going into the S's again, I have another moment there and nearly lose the car again, and thank goodness we were able to keep it under control, but we had to give up a lot of time to keep it under control. What a race this has been so far now, and we come through towards the final 3 laps though already of this GP, and somehow With all this chaos, Gasly, by the way, passes Perez for a podium position. We have somehow avoided any issues with safety cars or virtual safety cars and whatnot, which I could not believe. But final lap underway. We have DRS on Perez in his final race here in the Mexico GP, his home GP. We're going to cruise right on by, but I actually braked a little bit calm and clean into turn one, and actually Perez was able to lunge back around the outside and take the spot back. But we have one opportunity right here to maybe pass him again, but I really wasn't trying to make it too hard on Perez, because I know right here he is gaining crucial points on Lando Norris in his final season before he retires, so I really didn't want to fight him and take any more points away, so I kind of just let him have it. And Verstappen, though, would go back to back. He won for the first time in last episode in COTA in this season. He wins again in Mexico. Hamilton will get second. Crucial points he's picking up right there. I actually picked up a 3-second time penalty on this final lap due to going across the track limits, or exceeding track limits, unfortunately. But Pierre Gasly gets the podium. Perez fourth in his final Mexican GP, and we come through to cross the line P5. Norris rebounds to P6, but still loses points to Lewis Hamilton, and unfortunately for Bottas, he gains absolutely nothing in a GP where he had a lot of potential to do so, as we earn Driver of the Day here in Mexico.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
What a GP. I mean, I still can't believe we never had a safety car or anything. There was mechanical failures. Obviously, we don't really expect much from that, but there was spins with Bottas, myself as well. There was a bunch of wings just getting tossed around. But at the end of the day, we're going to check the point standings here. And Hamilton is now out by 17, Bottas out by 24, Perez out by 42. So it doesn't look good for Perez, that's for sure. But one GP swinging his direction could bring him back into the mix, but of course right now it's looking more like Lando, Lewis, as well as Bottas are going to scrap it out for this world title. Hamilton looking for number 8, Bottas looking for his second, and Lando looking for his first. And so far in this career mode, in Season 1, we had a first-time champion. That was Valtteri Bottas. In Season 2, we had a first-time champion. That was Max Verstappen. So will we repeat that here in Season 3 with Lando Norris, or will it go to a number 8 for Hamilton or number 2 for Bottas? I'm very excited to see how that is going to work itself out. Still can't really do any upgrades to this car because we aren't spec 3 on the other departments, so we're pretty well stuck, like I said here, still, unfortunately, in terms of the R&D. We've gone as far as we can until we unlock spec 3. So, and we're of course right at the end of the season now. 4 GPs to go, going to one of my favorite tracks on the circuit in Brazil. Then we go to Australia, Saudi Arabia, and Abu Dhabi to end the season. I'm excited to see how it ends. Hopefully we can get another podium or maybe some luck on our side and even win a race. But thank you for taking the time of your day to watch this episode. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one for the Brazilian GP. Have a great day, everybody.